Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Elseworlds Exchange. I'm Sal.
And I'm Joel.
So, look, normally this show is live on Fridays. I have shit to do tomorrow.
So I might be getting my vax this week, so
exactly,
I may be out of it in the next couple days.
Which makes total sense. So rather than pre-record a show, there's already a show pre-recorded, and it's dropping on ComicPop Returns tomorrow. Maybe even today. I don't know. We'll see. But we recorded an episode. We had it live here on ComicPop Prime. But as you probably are aware, we have a supplemental channel called ComicPop Returns. It is a fleet. It is part of the beginnings of a fleet of ComicPop channels. I don't expect there to be more, but here we are. But the plan is that's where Off the Rack and Elseworlds Exchange, our live podcasts, are going to live from now on. In fact, this week on Monday evening, Eastern Standard Time, 5:30 p.m., we will be launching the first ever Off the Rack live on that channel. Nice. So that's going to be the litmus test. In addition to that, Elseworlds Exchange. I was really on the fence. I had it ready to go. I was going to launch simultaneously, live on there, live on here. I was like, nah, I want to tell everybody one more time. We're going live on that channel next week. So this may be the last episode of Elseworlds Exchange on ComicPop Prime for the foreseeable future.
Until YouTube gets its shit together.
Yeah. And hey, listen, like if YouTube doesn't get its shit together, but ComicPop Returns is as much of a, not juggernaut as ComicPop Prime is, it'll work out for everybody. Like everybody gets something they want, Hell, maybe Bat Issues will come back on the main channel and we'll be able to produce more shows. I mean, that's the hope. So anyway, we're talking about, this is an idea I came up with a while ago where it was just like, what if we did the Angela treatment with certain indie characters? Because here's the thing. Marvel bought Angela from Neil Gaiman.
Sure did.
And then they tried. I think it's fair to say they tried.
Multiple times.
Yes. And it just didn't work.
No, the character just didn't have the cachet or the fan following they hoped. I mean, I know I was only ever really interested in Angela so much as it is kind of like a middle finger to McFarlane and everything. Like, hey, guess what, asshole? Look what we did.
Yeah, you quit us? Well, we own one of your characters. And it really disrupts your shit.
Yep. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, I'm sure he did not like it.
They wrote new shit for her story. They made Heaven and the Angels a whole other place on the world tree. Yeah, a whole other realm. She's actually Loki and Thor's like half sister.
Yep. Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
nobody cares.
She'll sometimes show up for Asgard events, but beyond that, no one cares.
Nope. She was Queen of Hell for a minute. She had
an
incredible Secret Wars tie-in series. That was 1602 Witch Hunter Angela.
Yeah.
Great book. Outside of that, meh.
Yeah, a lot of meh.
But it makes me wonder, could you still do it? Is it that some independent characters belong, can only exist in their own universe? Or is it just the luck of the draw? Because you can't say Marvel didn't try.
Absolutely. And I mean, if we look at the history of comics, there's a lot of instances where characters that we now feel are part of the great tapestry of their universes didn't start there. Captain Marvel, Shazam, that was a whole other company. The Watchmen-centric characters, Question, Black, and everything, they didn't start at DC. They got absorbed in.
Yeah, Blue Beetle was pushed by editorial after they made the acquirement of Charlton Characters to the point where now he is an intrinsic member of the DC universe, both iterations, and they're making a Blue Beetle movie.
Yeah. Couldn't imagine the universe without him now.
Exactly. Although, when you see him in the beginning, like when you watch his humble origins in the DC universe, you're like, what is the deal with this guy? Like, what is the deal with these characters? Why did you start pushing these random characters? Oh, you bought them. Why?
But Marvel doesn't do it nearly as much. I'm trying to think because, they got like Ultra Force, and I think they have the Men in Black because they own Malibu.
Right.
But they've never tried to incorporate any of that and bring it all together. They're like, no, we're good with Spider-Man. We have 1 billion X-Men. We're okay.
Right. We're not going to start using Ultra Force. We're not going to introduce Prime or Ghoul or Prototype. No, we don't care about that. And certain questionable characters, in the real world would get royalties if we used them. So we'll just wait.
Also that.
We'll just wait until he dies.
Likewise with DC, all of Jim Lee's Wildcats. They tried to. That Grifter gets a push every so often.
Yep. Every 5 years or so, they push Grifter in a big bad way. I feel like Wildstorm was one of those things where, you know, they acquired Wildstorm. I think with both Angela and Wildstorm, neither company knew what they were buying.
Oh, for sure.
You know, DC, I think to a greater extent, you know, DC was like, we're buying Jim Lee and we're keeping Wildstorm.
Yeah,
but we don't give a shit about that.
Gravy.
Right? Like, we're not going to start publishing oversized editions of Team 7 or Wildcats or Gen 13.
We'll try and make Team 7 a thing. We'll put Deathstroke and Amanda Waller on it, which will upset everyone. New fans won't like it, and old fans of Team 7 won't like it.
Yeah. Deathblow should technically be in the DC universe.
Man, you know, the last time we saw Deathblow in the Convergence Aquaman tie-in, Deathblow was the villain in that, and I'm like, oh, you guys care so much about Deathblow, don't you?
Yeah. You can't make Deathblow the villain. He's not the villain. Anyway.
And that story, that's the worst Convergence tie-in. There's a lot of bad Convergence stories. That was the worst one.
Yeah, I didn't even read it. And we were covering Convergence.
I know. It was a crazy time. It was the Wild West.
Yeah. By the way, if you do want to help sponsor today's episode, you can do so by using Super Chats. We'll read it here on the show. Like the new Ethan says, hey, Sal and Joel, longtime watcher, first-time supporter. That's true. I've never seen your name before. Thank you for your support.
You are.
Love you guys' content and keep being awesome. What's your favorite Fantastic Four run? I guess I gotta say Burn.
That's a pretty good one. I loved the Counselor Reed stuff. That was probably the last time I was really, really into it. What was also the one? I think it was a super short-lived Marvel Knights one that no one remembers, when like the Fantastic Four lost all their money and so they had to get day jobs. And I'm like, this is fun and interesting. And then there was a story where they went like camping in the New Jersey Pine Barrens.
That sounds like a Straczynski run to me.
Yeah, it's the most Fantastic Four run ever. They were really throwing anything at the wall and see what would stick.
Yeah, I will say, I also liked. Well, I didn't like it. Grant Morrison did a run. It was like a limited Marvel Knights run called 1, 2, 3, 4. I think. Oh. It was, weird.
You can't do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 without me thinking the Sesame Street thing. I just watched that Street Gang documentary this week, so all those songs are burned into my head now.
12. So we're pitching some ideas. We're just going to say, like, what would it take and would it work? You know, who would bother? Like, here's an independent character that I think could be integrated into either universe pretty seamlessly, because we've seen crossovers that suggest that that would work fine.
Right.
The Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, absolutely. We have seen a lot. They are mutants. They have their basis in Miller Daredevil, so they've already thematically be connected to that universe. You could bring them in very easily and be like, yeah, same goo that got in Matt's eyes made the turtles. Yep.
Right, exactly. Well, now, and that's the funny thing is, in the original Mirage comic, clearly Matt is in that book.
Yep.
But I don't think the Turtles fit into Marvel nearly as much as I think they fit better in DC.
Really? Do explain.
I feel like, first of all, having the mutant in the title doesn't work, because mutants mean something different in the Marvel universe.
There's one company that has staked a claim to the word mutant pretty hard.
And if you introduce the Ninja Turtles into the Marvel universe, and you have to address the mutant thing, and if you do, you know, there could be a desire to make them mutants, and then what is it? Oh, they were people before that? You've ruined the Ninja Turtles.
Are they mutates? Are they technically more like Deadpool in that regard, where it's like you were a person, but we messed with your genes and activated your mutant thing? Do the Turtles get to go to Krakoa then? Do they live in the sewers under Krakoa?
I think that's a horrible idea. I just don't like that idea. I don't want the Turtles to have been people. I want them to have been turtles who became people. But that kind of lines in with the old the urban legend of them wanting to make Wolverine an actual Wolverine whose mutation was a person. So there is a precedent, at least at the editorial level, of animals possessing mutations.
Well, you see, the High Evolutionary got involved, and they were actually Animen or Unmen or whatever the hell their thing is.
See, that would be the way to do it, and I hate the High Evolutionary, and I think that sucks. I feel like it overly complicates the Turtles' origin, whereas in DC, a rocket could land from a distant planet. a person could get caught in a nuclear explosion. A woman could come from a faraway island of sexy ladies. Like there are any number of ways. Everyone gets their own origin, but they still work under the same umbrella.
It's true.
Like that little kid who drops the canister of turtles could happen on any old street. Could have happened in Gotham,
but it happened in New York.
Right, exactly.
Which that would be interesting too, because the Turtles are so like, inseparable from New York and everything. But in DC, everyone has their own fictional city. So now a real city gets mentioned and brought up more.
And then someone is the guardian of New York in the DC universe finally. Yeah. And I don't know. I was just Tiffany was playing a video game on twitch.tv/ComicPop where she made pizzas. And it got me thinking about, when I was promoting it, I was like, pizza time. And it reminded me of that moment in the Batman Ninja Turtles animated movie where Batman's at the end is like, you can't go anywhere because it's pizza time. And that made me think of the beautiful James Tynion IV trilogy.
Yeah.
And how there's this element in that crossover where Batman, he has no patience for anybody. Superman, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man, anybody in any universe. He's Spawn. He's like, no. The Turtles, they're mutant monster animals. And he's like, these guys are all right. Immediately. Like he has a little bit of a veneer in the beginning. It is immediately cracked. Like with little to any effort. And I think it has to do with Batman's predilection for children. And I don't mean to say that like a creep. I mean like Batman has a soft spot for impressionable young
He's
kids.
Always adopting outcasts, down on their luck kids. And what are the Turtles if not eternally outcasts, down on their luck kids?
It's just 4 Green Robins. Basically, for him, he's like, look at you guys. And it's like, you guys are Robins and I didn't have to do any work. I love you guys.
You already come color-coded. I trained as a ninja too.
Yeah, no, like Batman and Splinter would have a lot of kinship, and they do. Batman and the Turtles, of course, he has like the soft spot for them. And each of them also represents an element of Batman's personality.
Yeah.
Because Batman does machines, he's rude, he's like the only one that he isn't is Michelangelo, and the 4 of them bring out the Michelangelo in him.
Not a party guy, but he could be.
But he could be. And he is when no one's watching, And I think I posited at one point that like he does that because when he's in the Turtles universe, he's like, no one's gonna know. No one's gonna know that I cut loose here.
This isn't canon. No one's watching.
Yeah, and I want that to be canon Batman, who's like, this isn't canon. It's fine. Like Clark's not gonna know about this. He's not gonna know I rode a skateboard. But for some reason, Batman loves these turtles, and I'm like, I really want to see more of that in like a kind of like where they're the outsiders for Batman. Right. Like Batman's like, if I'm in a pinch, I'm gonna call the Turtles first every time.
When the Turtles do cross over to the DC universe, do they keep all their original villains? Does that become a thing, or do they start sharing DC ones? Because hey, if Killer Croc fought the Turtles, that might actually give him something more interesting to do.
Hell, Killer Croc, now his mutation came from the ooze. Yeah, no, Krangs. They experimented on or whatever the hell they're called. I don't remember, but like they experiment on Kryptonians. Shredder trained with Ra's al Ghul. Like there's any number of elements you could just change up and play with, and it doesn't really mess with anything because the Turtles are kind of like there are Star Trek Ninja Turtles action figures and they're 30 years old. You could put Turtles in anything. So,
and as it's proved, it works.
Yeah, and it worked, and it works every time. So I think the Turtles are one of those independent characters, even though like they're a I don't know, commercial juggernaut. They still work. Yeah, but they still, I think DC would be smart if they were ever to try to acquire them. I'm glad they haven't. DC is not in a position to acquire anybody right now.
No.
But yeah, I think that
from what I understand, creatively, the Turtles got a good thing.
They got a good thing. Don't mess with it. Don't mess with it. But if you were ever going to reboot, I could think of a no better place for them than the DC universe.
I could see it being like a Button style event where it's like the Turtles are coming. We found this pizza in the sewer. What does it mean, Batman?
See, that's the problem is that like I love the Turtles and I appreciate them, but every time we do the Turtles in this channel, it is like no one is interested. Like no one cares. And the Turtles has a very strong vocal audience. But I think that Angela-ing up the Turtles at DC would be a mistake. Like, you don't hype it up. You just do it. Do it. Like, you don't waste time with like masks and like, Green Arrow finds a sigh in Star City. Like, no. The foot soldiers are invading, wherever. No.
You could totally see them doing that where it's like, no, we got to build up to this. This has got to be an event. We got to have Technodrome 2022 where it comes through and the Turtles have to join forces with all the different heroes to push them back. But wait, don't the heroes regularly defeat Kang and the Shredder on there? Shut up.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, they don't need help. They defeat all their villains themselves. But in the DC universe, you would have to nerf the Turtles a little bit. So. DJ Destroyer says, I feel like Valiant should pick up some popular Image books into their universe. That'll bring a push to them quite well. That's an interesting theory. I don't see Valiant. I mean, here's the thing. If Valiant could acquire characters, they would have when they were made of cash. Like, you'll notice that they'd never got Solar Man of the Atom or Turok.
Yes, which were theirs, and they couldn't get them back, which is such a heartbreaker.
Couldn't get them back, and from Dynamite. So, like, I feel like this current iteration of Valiant, not only that, but like they also have a pretty expansive universe right now. They don't need independent characters. What they do need to do is cross over with characters, because if Valiant wants to get the word out and they want to expand their brand, there's nothing wrong with crossovers.
Crossover goes a long way.
That's free money on the table. I think I can talk about this. With the previous administration, we had an unofficial meeting, one of those things where it's like, it's like a lunch kind of thing where we're out at a fun thing, but we're also
unforgettable luncheon.
Yes, an unforgettable luncheon. We all had steamed hams, but I was like, listen, like, you guys want to do your rebrand, and this is back with the original, like the 2012, and they're like, what are you thinking? And I'm like, you got to do crossovers. And I'm like, the first thing you do is Predator versus the Valiant universe. I'm like, the only Valiant book anybody can remember is Predator versus Magnus the Robot Fighter. And he was like, yeah. Like, he immediately, like, the person I was talking to was like immediately like reticent to the idea. He's like, no, I don't want to do crossovers. And I'm like, I'm not saying Batman here. I'm saying Predator. And you Predator versus the Valiant universe, and you pick like 3 characters: Ninjak, Bloodshot, Exo versus Predator, just to show off how cool your characters are, because Predator has his own audience and he can die. All your characters can look cool and win.
This was also before Marvel acquired the Predator license and everything, so we couldn't even do that now because Predator is spoken for.
And now it's over. It's heartbreaking that Predator can never cross over with anybody.
Yep, they got the keys to that kingdom.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, Greg. He says, you could just call them Ninja Turtles and drop the mutant thing. That's true. But you'd be missing a piece of your soul.
In your heart of hearts, you would know.
It's true. Dan V900, this is a bit of a cheat, but put Linda Danvers back where she belongs in the DC universe. She was Lynn in IDW's Fallen Angel, but give her something.
We talk about this frequently, that, when that Supergirl run was done, the writer's like, fine, fuck you, I'm taking it and going to my indie book.
Yeah. I feel like there was always room for that character.
Yeah.
Even if I didn't read a single book.
Likewise, I know they had a fan base and it was beloved. And the fact that I even know that little piece of trivia speaks to the fact of how, engrossing this was at one time.
Absolutely. Lewis Cox of TMNT was in Marvel. They'd be in humans instead of mutants.
Oh.
Turtles got hit with the Terrigen Mists. Or what about this? The ooze is a byproduct. Like, outside of Adelan, there's like a pipe.
It's toxic runoff.
It's toxic Terrigen runoff.
By God.
Now you've got your Marvel pitch. Okay, but I still like my DC pitch more. Anyway, let's pitch one. So what independent character do you think would work in the big 2, or could work depending on what they do with it?
All right, so here's an easy layup for Marvel, and I didn't get time to research this, so they could have crossed over, but I didn't know. Witchblade from Top Cow. Sexy ladies with metal weapon arms, and I'm like, Weapon X, Marvel, it's easy. Weapon X versus Witchblade.
Yes. Oh, okay. Witchblade the what I don't know dick about Witchblade, by the way.
I watched the Witchblade anime,
Oh.
which I'm sure is nothing like the actual comic, but the fact
That's
that
funny.
they got an anime.
Because my wife watched the live action TNT TV series of Witchblade, which I'm sure is nothing like the comic book.
Shit, can we tag Tiff in on this one? I think she's the best expert
She
on
doesn't
this one.
know, because she'd be like, I don't know, it's a terrible show, and it's, but there's a thing. It looks like a skin condition. It's made of metal. It takes off her clothes and makes her sexy. I don't know. Like, I honestly, you just say like it's weapon Y or weapon
W.
Weapon W, where it's like it's a prototype. It's like adamantium wasn't stable yet, and
So
it grafted onto a scientist who was working at the program or something. That's where she gets, and it wouldn't come off, and it became alive. I don't know. Whatever,
or something like that, or like
something like that,
or some crazy scientist is like, oh, I took some stuff from the Witchblade and adamantium and mixed them together. Dr. Cornelius, we'll get Dr. Cornelius back, and I mixed them together to create a new line of super weapons, and only Wolverine, Sabretooth, Lady Deathstrike, and the cast of Witchblade need to come together to stop this crazy new bullshit I've invented.
I love the idea. You could call it Weapon Witchblade, like Weapon W, and then it's like Itchblade. I don't know. That's
our titles are. See, the problem with this is that it's like 20 years too late. If we did this in 1996, it'd be fucking awesome.
Well, let me tell you something, my friend. They did. Marvel had an event with Top Cow where all the Top Cow characters crossed over with Marvel characters, because Mephisto saw the Top Cow universe, is like, I could probably take that one. And so like Silver Surfer and Witchblade team up, and a number of other characters, Ballistic and Wolverine team up. Or Ghost Rider. It's Ghost Rider and Ballistic. Horrible.
All your favorite Top Cow characters.
Yes, name more than two, and I'll give you a Coke. Like, forget it. But but Witchblade has there's a good silhouette there, and I like the idea of this thing. I don't know. It's a cool if they made a Witchblade gauntlet prop replica, I'd probably buy it.
Apparently they're adapting it again. Apparently people are still after the Witchblade rights, because again, we're at this magical time in comic
where anything can be a movie.
In this comic book adaptation where The Fucking Boys is a hit, Jupiter's Legacy is a hit, Invincible is a hit. We've exhausted all the other stuff. Everything else from DC and Marvel is getting a show or a movie. What else do you got? Sweet Tooth will take whatever, man.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's true. Look, Sweet Tooth is a testament for that, yes.
People are ready for Witchblade. They just don't know it yet.
Yeah. I mean, listen, ladies and gentlemen, we did an episode where I think I pitched the Bad Girl Cinematic Universe.
Oh, you did, yeah.
Still on the table.
Pretty solid, actually. Hey, Hollywood, ring us up. We got lots of great ideas.
Lots of great ideas. Press Yeti 40. I feel like Spawn would be a good foil for Daredevil. Two men tied to devils fighting crime. One more extreme. See what Frank thinks. I could see Spawn being a Marvel character.
Yeah, there's a lot of Marvelness in there. Of course, then you have him and Ghost Rider being like, no, I'm the superhero for hell. No, I'm the superhero from hell. Fuck you.
Oh, Spawns are phase 2 of the Ghost Rider program.
Or Ghost Riders from a different level. Yeah, different devil, different layer of hell, different bullshit.
I think, isn't there a thing in a recent event where Mephisto took a symbiote with him to hell during King in Black?
I might have missed that. But that sounds about right, and also sounds very Spawny, doesn't it?
Right? Like, maybe, King in Black, Mephisto takes one of the dragons and then creates the Spawn program out of that.
Shit.
Spawn is born. It's to deal with the same shit. It's just that Spawn is a supernatural Punisher in the Marvel Universe, in New York.
It gets even better, too, because Mephisto's like, look, so you see, the problem with the Ghost Rider is that I give them too much power and agency. If I make a suit with a ticking clock on it, then they can't come back and fuck me over.
I'm guaranteed a return on my investment.
That's actually really fucking clever. That's really solid, actually. Mephisto is the guy. And then, of course, you work in Malbosia later to be like, yeah, Mephisto, yeah, I studied under Malbosia. He was my demonic mentor and everything. Then I locked him away, but now he's coming back.
Because I was going to say, just Malbosia and Mephisto sound too similar. He just is also Malbosia. Mephisto has had many different looks over the years. I went with a more gross version this time. There's a version of him with like dreads and big boobs. Like
That's pretty solid too, because the devil has many names. I've been Lucifer Morningstar. I am Samael the Fallen One.
I'm Nabolja.
I'm all these things. Oh, and then Violator gets to exist in the universe and fight other heroes too.
Yes, you could finally get Venom versus versus Violator. That'd be dope.
That's pretty. And then, of course, you get all the other ones too, like Cygor and Overkill. You get them too. They're fun, I guess.
Yeah, lucky us. Yeah, Overkill was a rejected SHIELD cyborg program. He was part of the Deathlock program.
I was gonna say, then you get Overkill versus Deathlock, and that's a backup story, right?
Yeah, definitely way back up.
Ooh, no. Here's the thing: it's all to get you to Daredevil versus Redeemer. Daredevil becomes a Redeemer because he's all into Jesus.
See, look at all these options we got. That's the problem. You get and then Angela. We haven't even talked about the fact that now Angela can be a spawn hunter. Hell,
again
Odin is or heaven or whatever the hell her realm is like
heaven, but spelt weird.
Yeah, these spawns are a problem. All of our angels are gonna have to kill spawns now.
That's right. Now she can do something, and it makes sense. Like Angela, these spawns, they're a real problem, man. You gotta get back out there. You gotta get the band back together.
You gotta get those big spawn earrings.
And then she starts deputizing other people to hunt spawns. Hey, Danny Moonstar, you're not doing anything right now. You want to hunt some spawns,
right? Echo, when you're not a phoenix anymore, you want to be a spawn hunter?
Yes.
Be awesome. That's it.
Angela and the Spawn Hunters. That's your team book right there.
Yeah. Hell, I feel like McFarlane is such a shrewd, intelligent businessman. I feel like that's his retirement strategy.
You just want him, you can have him.
Well, you can have him for a price.
give me all the money. I want to retire on a tropical island.
Yeah, exactly.
With a golden turlet. Give me that money.
Yeah. I think they'll pay him for it.
Papa Disney's like, okay.
That's a good R-rated property. We can start spinning those out. That'll be like our like back in the day when we made Miramax and it was or bought Miramax and we were like, that's where our R-rated properties will go.
And because no one's done anything with Spawn cinematically in the last couple decades, it's a good clean brand.
That's true. And they'll make it because right now they're not because Todd wants to direct.
Yes, which is why it's never going to happen.
Which is why they're never going to do that.
Because he's never directed anything before.
Nope. They're not just going to hand somebody the keys. Scarlet Hottie says, I can't think of an established character to bring into the big two, but I've always bitten me that there may not be... There's not many Italian American superheroes in Marvel. Let my people wear tights.
It's interesting, isn't it? So many Italian creators, yet so few Italian heroes.
Yeah, because they want to be, accepted. I know. I am Italian, and I grew up, in a very white, not Italian area, and Sals don't get to be Batman.
The biggest one I can think of is a retcon, Francis Castiglione, the Punisher, Frank Castle, who goes around killing more Italians than anyone else. So he's just the biggest self-hating Italian.
Yeah, no, it's Frank and it's Huntress, Helena Bertinelli.
That's true. And she wasn't for a while, too, and then she kind of came back again. They don't know what's going on with Huntress, and they don't care.
But even then, Huntress was in the mob. But I did like Huntress being an Italian-American.
That's one of the only other ones I can think of. Every other Italian character, Manfredi, Maroni, Silvermane, which isn't Italian, but still, they're all bad guys.
They're all bad guys.
Man, wow, they are all bad. Man, we got to fix that at some point. We should do that.
I'll be happy to wait. My turn.
Are there any Italian mutants? You figured there's mutants from every country in the world, in every place.
I don't recall. I don't think so. Amazing Zero, G.I. Joe for Marvel, Transformers for DC. I mean, we're getting into major IPs here. Turtles have never been connected to anything else besides themselves, but I do. G.I. Joe, Marvel, they're an offshoot of S.H.I.E.L.D. Transformers, Transformers have been in the Marvel Universe before.
They have been, they still kind of are because Death's Head. Is a Transformers character, but also a Marvel character, but due to weird contractual shenanigans, they get to keep him.
Yeah. That's fine. No one at Transformers, no one at IW wants him. Hell, Marvel barely wants him.
I mean, shit, the thing with G.I. Joe, you get G.I. Joe at DC, or at Marvel, and then you get Larry Hama back to write it.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's still writing.
Yeah, that's the way to go. Algie Try, long live Comic Pop. Hell yeah. Thank you very much, Algie. Appreciate it. So yeah, I loved your pick. You had Savage Dragon on this list.
Yeah, so Savage Dragon is basically just a Hulk character, yes?
Yeah, it's just smart Hulk. It's just 90s Peter David Hulk.
So to have that character actually just be like, yo, I live in the Marvel universe now. I'm a cop over here. And oh yeah, I'm going to get to fight Hulk eventually at some point too, because obviously that's the match people want to see. Hell, Savage Dragon for the Savage Avengers.
Yes.
He's the new leader of the Savage Avengers, and he picks a new Savage team.
Right? Honestly, like Savage Dragon at the core, the idea of like a guy who doesn't know his past, who protects one city, and he becomes a cop. Like I liked that idea, and Chicago's also like vacant of heroes at Marvel anyway. Yeah. You can also introduce all of the freaks of the Savage Dragon universe, because there's already like Eternals and Inhumans and mutants and like all kinds of.
Yeah, why not have some freaks?
Yeah, get some freaks in there. Are they mutants? Hell, make them mutants. Moving on.
Good jobber villains too for other superheroes too. Like the champions can beat on some freaks and it's okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Then you get Overlord, which would be great when Overlord eventually has to meet Doctor Doom, and Doctor Doom's like, "You bit my whole shit, asshole."
Yeah, that sucks. Ultimately, I don't care enough about Savage Dragon to like have any skin in the game, but I also was like,
it's like that's where I'm at too. But also, like, some people must really love Savage Dragon because Savage Dragon has maintained,
it's still coming out.
So many other things have not. Same creator, same shit all this time. Like that's got to be some kind of record for like the longest going creator on a series.
I think it is. Yeah.
Which for that alone,
right. I mean, but again, selling him got to be part of Eric Larson's retirement strategy.
Yeah, again, that's give me a golden turlet and my own private island, and you can have my baby. Because, like, at this point, Larson and him are basically inseparable. I couldn't imagine one without the other.
No, but I could also, like, I have seen, like, here's the thing. My recollection of Savage Dragon is 90s Eric Larson art.
Same.
Having seen recent Eric Larson art, I kind of want to see what other people have to do with Savage Dragon. Like, I want to get back to that. So, I don't know. I think that also he could work in either universe.
True. Because, again, there's just something, which I guess speaks to the endearing nature of the character. There's something just universal about the Savage Dragon. You can plop him at any universe at any point in time, and it works because it's so simple. Like you said, a guy doesn't know where he's from, decides to protect the city that adopts them, etc., etc.
Exactly.
Also, too, I don't know how political, Larson has gotten, but a superhero who is also a cop, I figured there's a lot there to cover.
Oh, Larson got super political, like around, like certainly more high profile during the Obama administration, but he got super political.
Didn't Savage Dragon leave America during the Trump administration and move to Canada? Yeah, that's why he was at Fan Expo, actually, because he had moved to Canada.
That's right. That's right.
He actually did it.
Yeah. So, I could see Dragon moving over there.
Place, yeah.
Yeah. NB Yellow Paladin. I always like the theory that the boy that drops the turtles was Matt Murdock. It's not even a theory, man. that happened. Like, if you look at the book, that's. But yes, I like it too. But also, like, I don't like it because there's. Like, Daredevil wouldn't hang out with the turtle. Like, I don't know. I don't see much of a crossover between the two of them outside of like the obvious.
I mean, Daredevil's too busy brooding and having sex with ladies. He can't hang out with the turtles.
Oh, the Krampus style.
Oh, for real.
Kojo Pumpkin, bring the Harbinger crew and the Psyots to Marvel would be cool. Yeah, but then again, Marvel would never keep the Psyots. Like, Marvel already has Ultra Force and all that stuff. And they're like, nah, we're not going to do that. Like, not only are we not going to use it, but like, everything's a mutant. Another
superpowered group to keep track of. Now we're okay.
Exactly. But I do hear what you're saying. Girk Pectus, this is cheating, but I want to see Constantine meet Harry Dresden, a character from novels and some indie comic books. Help him fight his vampire war.
I mean, Dresden is like one of the original paranormal detectives in a trench coat with a bad attitude, right? So the fact that those two have never teamed up under any circumstance seems like, we're all poorer for it.
True. Mr. Roboto, all Valiant needs is Vin and Bloodshot 4 now. I mean, I don't know. Now, Vin wasn't enough.
Apparently, also the friggin' pandemic happened right now, which is a shit. That Bloodshot movie is fine. It's a perfectly good actioner. It's Universal Soldier. Here's the thing. What if Vin Diesel, the actor, joined the Valiant universe and now he's just running around there, huh?
There we go. Yeah, he could team up with Savage, and they could get they could share an agent.
Hey, who's got the comic rights to Fast and the Furious? That's a pretty popular thing. What if Valiant got the rights to that? Now we're making Fast and the Furious comics. Dom and the whole crew exist here in Valiant now because it's as fucking crazy as anything else.
That's true. That's true. Don't talk too loud, or Dynamite will hear you. And by the
way, hey, what was that? We heard you can't take it back now. You're on our mailing list. Even though I asked you to take me off.
Yeah. Kevin Kruger, Shadow Man versus Ragman, and Judge Dredd versus Captain America. Judge Dredd in the Marvel Universe is hilarious, but he's named as U.S. Agent. Shadow Man and Ragman, I'd love to see that.
That would be pretty cool and interesting. Apropos of Judge Dredd, let me pitch you an even more weird or obscure character who I think would actually fit better in the Marvel Universe. Martial Law. Who remembers Martial Law, everybody?
That's familiar.
It's Judge Dredd, but what if it was even more like an in-your-face parody? Like, what if it was funny and less like a deconstruction of like weird fascist thing? I was at a con many years ago, and I met a very nice fellow. He wasn't even going to the con. He was just walking the street and saw my badge and kicked up a conversation. And apparently his favorite comic character is Martial Law. So for that guy alone, hey, man, I remember you. Let's get something happening with Martial Law. Basically, what if Judge Dredd was Deadpool?
Right. Well, apparently, Martial Law had been published by DC up until at least the 2000s, like the mid-2000s.
Shit. Well, there you go.
So
time to bring it back. 2021, the year of Martial Law. Oh, there's your like insert page of their law is coming.
Yeah, that would be fun to bait and switch them, make them think Judge Dredd's coming and it's actually Martial Law. That would be really pissed.
Fucking hilarious. And it's written by Bendis.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, that's a good idea.
Here's all my Judge Dredd pitches that I couldn't do, but they're letting me write them for Martial Law.
Yeah. Call me LJ. Valiant could easily fit within the Marvel Project Rising Sun. Is just an offshoot of Weapon X, Ninjak formation to S.H.I.E.L.D. It's easy. Yeah, it is easy, but there's something kind of like fun about them being in their own space. I mean, those characters are all very unique to themselves, and obviously people drew parallels between Iron Man and Exo Manowar to the point where they made a friggin' video game off of it.
I was gonna say that was mine. It's like, so Exo Manowar fits super easily because he's just a guy in a suit.
Yeah, but the suit's an alien, and it's like
a symbiote.
It's like a symbiote. He's more like a space knight. I don't know.
Like a space knight, which they also own.
Which they also can't use. But like, well, they can't use ROM. They can use Space Knights. But
they can use all the other ones you don't. We can have Space Knight swords. We can have Venom become a Space Knight, but we just cannot have ROM.
Yeah. I could see them twisting the Valiant pantheon into something, but ultimately I feel like Marvel would just leave them alone. Like Marvel would just screw it up.
We have too many things. Well, I mean, similarly to DC's relationship to Milestone, we tried to integrate it and it didn't really work. Worked much better on TV and in the cartoons, and people love these characters that we own the rights to, but we don't really own the rights to, and it gets into a bunch of legal battles. Now we're getting Milestone again, but you're getting them in your own little side universe over here. And if it does as good as we think it does, we'll probably eventually fold it in because we've already set up a back door to fold it all in.
This is true. I think that the way to integrate Milestone into the DC universe is to do it carefully and with people who are passionate about those characters and not just because they wanna.
It seems to be that's the route they're taking with it. It's like, look, let us get some of the original Stewarts back. Let us set up a good groundwork before we eventually just end up crossing over. Kind of ultimate comicsing it in that regard, where it's like, look, we trust you to do good work here, and we know the audience is here for it, so take it from there. So again, maybe Valiant, same deal if Marvel was ever to get a hold of it, where it's like, look, we respect you as a company, and we're going to respect you over here, and if you get very popular, then we will take a la carte things from you.
Totally. Mr. Roboto, how about an Astounding Wolfman collab with Batman? I don't have any interest in Kirkman's other stuff, like Wolfman.
You say that, and I put Tech Jacket on this list because it's like, look, it's Iron Man meets The Last Starfighter is what it is. And if you don't think that after Invincible hit big and Walking Dead made people fucking fortunes, that they're not looking for everything he's ever done, being like, all right, Golden Goose Man, what do you have next? Well, it's called Battle Pope, and I think you're gonna like it very much.
Oh my god, they'll never make Battle Pope.
Oh, but you know they're having discussions, but it's like, but can we though? What if for the right budget though? You know, The Boys was quite subversive in its own way. Perhaps 2025 will be the year of Battle Pope. Perhaps
that's fair. Dennis Bell, if I remember correctly, Witchblade was technically a crossover between the Darkness and its enemy, the Angelus.
That's right. Also, hey, the Darkness is an Italian guy. There you go.
There we go, the Darkness. Tevye the Darkness, aka Jackie, can he work with Marvel or DC?
He's
Sure.
basically a Spawn already, so there you go. Just here's another ancient, evil, Lovecraftian thing that's dark and gooey, kind of like a symbiote.
Yeah, that's like saying, can Darkchild work in these universes? Like, who cares? Can we get Fathom in here? Speed Vesku, the characters in the world of Usagi Yojimbo as High Evolutionary Secret Experiment. Joel had Usagi on there.
I did, because come on, Usagi Yojimbo, one of the most strangely endearing creations, is Eisner Award winning. So it's got like none of this other shit we talked about has a freaking Eisner Award behind it. So right there, it's already kind of a made man because that has already crossed over with Turtles. Again, I actually think Usagi Yojimbo makes a lot of sense in the DC universe because like the whole Pet Avengers, Crypto the Super Dog and everything where it's like, yeah, there's just a rabbit samurai running around.
Exactly. I think Usagi works in the Marvel universe or anywhere for that matter.
Usagi Yojimbo meets Captain Carrot and the Zoo Crew.
There we go. Captain Carrot's like, whoa, this guy's intense.
This guy's pretty fucking cool though, I must admit.
Love it. Psycho Red, S to the P to the A to the WNY Leguizamo song is stuck in your head now. You're welcome. It's referencing the Spawn movie.
Of course.
It's you know.
What an underrated performer, John Leguizamo.
You know that guy really ate the maggots in that scene where he ate the maggot pizza? He really
Seriously?
did. Yep.
Wow.
Jace Jensen, Invincible and Nightwing are cousins now, so you have a book called The Flying Graysons.
That's the real problem with trying to work Mark Grayson anywhere, is that there's already a pretty popular character named Grayson out there already.
Yes. But I think, like you, because you have Invincible on here as well, Invincible works in either universe, and we've at least
the point,
right? And we've seen Invincible in the Marvel universe already with Marvel Team Up, which Kirkman wrote. He was writing Marvel Team Up, and he invented Invincible at the time. So Invincible went like during one of the arcs when he like goes through dimensions, he goes to the Marvel universe, and there's like he teams up with Spider-Man and meets the new Avengers and stuff.
We've also seen minor team ups between Invincible and the other Image characters. They like show up in the background of funerals and shit.
Exactly, or like when there's a big war, you'll see like Savage Dragon show up.
Which I wonder, will they adapt that for the show? Will they like pay people off? Yeah, I don't think they.
Can't even put Science Dog in the show.
No, yeah, that's right. That's called Seance Dog because Science Dog is a thing.
It's a real thing. So they're like, no, you won't see anyone. You'll see just more and more made up characters. I think Invincible works in either universe, like you said, and he's a Superman analog. It'd be interesting to see Superman and his reaction to Invincible if he were in that universe. It'd be great to see the Viltrumites, and it's like, oh my god, like this is like all kinds of different alien races.
It would be something there where it's like, the Kryptonians and the Viltrumites warred back in the day, and they decided to cut the universe in half and be like, look, you stick to your side of the universe, we'll stick to ours.
Yep.
And they're only just now here, and it's like, oh, all the Kryptonians are dead and have been for like 40 odd years.
Cool. Oh, we're taking it then. Yeah.
Then this is ours now. Truce over.
Yeah.
And so Superman has to go and be like, no, I am the last son of Krypton, and so long as I am alive, the treaty must stand. Oh, okay then. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Go, but kill him when he's not
looking. Exactly. Plus the Invincible universe, all the fun characters and aliens that are in there, they all work seamlessly with either place. Most notably DC, I think.
Lobo versus Alan the Alien. Alan the Alien becomes a Guardian of the Galaxy.
Yep, any of those work. Invincible is he is birthed from the big two.
Yeah, like that's the whole idea. He is a commentary on comic books. That's nothing. If Invincible ends up joining either of the universe, does that mean like the deconstruction becomes even more pointed about that universe, or do we just have to stop doing that now?
I think you do. I think you have to keep it going because otherwise, what's the point? Like, otherwise, you're just telling stories about another like super. Otherwise, you're just using Mon-El or some other character.
True.
It's like, no, you got to have him be subversive. It has to be like. He's got to be an Animal Man of the DC universe with higher profile.
Man, it would be so great. Like the next big DC event, Invincible gets a tie and he's like, man, I feel like my life just got hijacked out of nowhere. Like I was doing something and now I'm somewhere completely else. Man, I tell you.
Yeah. No, I could see that. He'd be like a Deadpool, but less zany.
Yeah, like a more deadpan Deadpool.
Yeah. King's Portico, been listening to you guys for years. I love when Sal calls bullcrap on comics. Joel's very intelligent. The crew helped me through the death of my mother. Well, I'm sorry to hear about your passing,
man.
but thank you so much for being here, man.
Yeah, it means the world to us.
Yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that. Let's see where it just reset the chat, so I gotta scroll back up. Oh God, here we go. Psycho Red Ultraman is this close to being in the Prime Marvel universe. Ultraman versus Galactus would be neat. I have no interest in Ultraman.
We already got Hyperion, man.
Exactly. Lewis Cox, Power Rangers, either Marvel or DC, be fun. Yup.
That's a fun writing exercise too, because it's like, look, there needs to be another group of evil space aliens who routinely try and take over Earth, but only really this one city, Angel Grove, California.
Yep. We've seen them kind of interact with the DC universe, and I honestly just got to tell you, despite Tom Taylor, it kind of sucks.
It wasn't as what I wanted to be either. I love they make Zach the main character of that. That was interesting.
Yep.
He rarely ever gets that love and appreciation. Also, too, in a DC universe, because it's a team, not a singular hero, there's something to be done about that. And also, the Power Rangers have already crossed over with the Ninja Turtles, so they know they exist.
And you got the Zords and the whole mythology surrounding like Zordon and all that stuff. Yeah, there's
the morphing grid as it exists alongside like the Speed Force.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot to play with there.
That means Eltar exists in the universe. Was Eltar part of the Shi'ar Empire?
There we go. Yeah, why not? I think that would work. Plus, then you get like different characters becoming Power Rangers.
See, actually, this works even better too, because Marvel is all about chariots of the god theory, and magic is just science we don't understand. Rita, Zed, and like all those other guys, they're just space wizards.
Yeah,
because all magic is space magic in this universe.
Yes.
So that actually makes a lot of sense. Where in DC, it's like no arcane, and it actually does make more sense.
Here's a theory. There used to be a town. Or these guys used to be here. Like, let's say 25 years ago, they used to be Power Rangers and stuff. We just the century up the Power Rangers. But what
you could do it, create an original team and go, that was the team in this universe. You just didn't know about them.
You didn't know about them, and the Power Rangers basically like you structure the story where, like in the 90s, this was a thing,
right?
And through the story, the Power Rangers are like, we can't beat them. It got too big and too problematic. So we will voluntarily trap all of ourselves into a pocket dimension. Thanks, Doctor Strange.
Hey, there you go.
And we will just fight the same fight in the same town over and over again. And we will we know we're in the pocket universe. Like we know we're in a cyclical, never-ending universe, but they don't. And as long as they don't, we will keep fighting, and we'll just fight the same fight over and over again. And then, like something happens, like Wolverine goes back in time, like Age of Ultron, cracks the universe, and they escape, and they're like, it's over. Like they're like, damn you, like the sacrifice was for nothing. And then they're like, oh, and we're 20, 30 years later and we're still teenagers with attitude.
You are speaking my language there. I totally had a pitch. They would never let me do this. I was going to do like a whole friggin' Watchmanized version of Power Rangers where it's like, no, see, they are trapped in like a Groundhog Day loop of fighting monsters of the week over and over again until one of them figures it out, becomes the Ozymandias, goes crazy and be like, no, I must break the wheel that we are all on.
Yes. That's the Green Ranger.
Ending the world. Yeah. See, I thought it'd be fun to make the Blue Ranger because he's the smart one. So he's the one who figures it out. And it's tragic, too, if he's the one who figures it out because everyone likes Billy.
Right, exactly. That'd be cool. Lawrence Perry with a super sticker. Thank you so much. I love these stickers, even though I can't show it here right now. Deb M. Always love seeing old pulp hero crossovers. Batman and Shadow was a lot of fun. Batman fought Snake Eyes in that Fortnite comic. Surprisingly fun. There's no surprise about that. Of course it's fun. It's a ninja.
Yeah, exactly. There's so much you could do with ninjas.
Dan S. Valifax from God Country could work well with Wonder Woman or Thor. I agree. They could wield that sword. We're going to see more of Valifax as we go. What was it? J. Joseph Fraser says, can we get a God of War Wonder Woman Conan crossover? Why the hell not? Listen, if you aren't reading Wonder Woman right now, you are doing yourself a disservice. You must be reading Wonder Woman right now. If you love God of War, you got to read Wonder Woman. So
because that's basically her shtick now. She's sliding through all the great warrior culture.
Jay, Read Wonder Woman. But she did do a crossover with Conan, and it's pretty cool.
And Red Sonja, so I mean, there's definitely precedent for it.
Yeah. Kasanga Cherry Clark, I've always thought that some cartoon properties would work well with Comic Universe, like Samurai Jack would be a dope book. PPG Ben 10 would work wonders at DC. Happy Thursday, you too, man.
I mean, Ben 10 is just Dial H for Hero, isn't it?
Yeah, but more successful.
Much more successful, man. Can you imagine being like the rights holders to Dial H for Hero? What do you mean? This is the original thing.
Yeah. Austin Whitebread, I would kill for an Invincible Spider-Man team-up series. Thanks for the entertainment as I sling pizza dough. Well, Austin, holster your dough because I got news for you. They did it already. It's called Marvel Team Up. It's written by Kirkman. I think it's drawn by Otley. Nice. And they did it. Spider-Man and Invincible Team Up.
I think he wants more like a mini, like a Superman Spider-Man or something.
That makes sense. Yeah, I don't blame you, and that'd be a lot of fun. But I think Kirkman exhausted it. You know, he's like, this is. Spider-Man would not want to deal with this guy anymore.
You only get one.
Yeah. Ken Byrne with another super sticker. Thank you very much, Ken. Really appreciate it. Love that sticker.
Someone in the chat saying a Freakazoid. Yeah, Freakazoid. He's kind of like Madman. He's kind of like Deadpool, and he's crossed over with the Teen Titans Go cartoon, so maybe he could fit in that universe.
Yeah. Freakazoid should be a DC character. I don't understand why they haven't done that yet.
Freakazoid meets Harley Quinn. There's a story for you.
Yeah. They already created Freakazoid. He was created by Keith Giffen. His name is the Heckler.
Ah, there you go.
But just do Freakazoid because I hate the Heckler. Lewis Cox, doesn't Marvel have Men in Black? Do that at Marvel. Yeah.
They do. They have Malibu. And again, the fact that they have this thing that has proved to be quite popular but don't want to touch it, I think speaks volumes about where they're at. Yeah. If they ever make another good Men in Black movie, maybe they'll think about it.
It's weird they haven't, and I guess it's because there's no secret that aliens exist.
True. Yeah, exactly. It wouldn't work, right? Where it's like, yeah, motherfucker, we know aliens exist. They are our friends.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
It'd be fun to treat the Men in Black like the X-Files in the Marvel Universe, where it's like, we were an offshoot of S.H.I.E.L.D. We were the top dogs on campus, but the second Galactus showed up, we got mothballed.
Yeah, suddenly no one gave a shit about us. You know what it is? It needs to be a Disney Plus show, is what it needs to be. Set in its own universe. It's a Disney Plus show. New J&K. That's their letter, but they're new people with new stories, and that's how you do it. Oh, and then you adapt Agent A, the villain from the other cartoon that everyone loved and should have been the villain to begin with.
Speed Vescu, one of the supernatural heroes versus 30 Days of Night and or meet the cast of Hack and Slash.
I have Hack Slash on my list, sir.
Let's hear it.
What
do we got?
I mean, obviously, Casey, Hack, and Vlad make perfect sense in Marvel. They're regular people who had a horrible tragedy befall them, and now they drive across America in a van fighting monsters. It's just sometimes maybe those monsters are Man-Thing or pre-existing Marvel monsters and not just regular pastiche versions of famous slasher villains.
Yes, and I could see Elsa Bloodstone teaming up with these characters very
also easily. That, where Cassie's like, I love you, Elsa Bloodstone. Yeah, I know, I'm pretty cool, aren't I?
Yeah, yeah, of course you do. Now fuck off. Orange Pancake, if James Tynion could still worked on Justice League Dark, he could have worked in Scott Snyder's Witches. Imagine Zatanna and Wonder Woman becoming pledged. Whoa, no.
That's pretty nuts.
Oh, no. That'd be awesome.
I'm sure they pitched that at some point. They're like, look, if Lemire can do Black Hammer Justice League, why can't we do Witches Justice League Dark?
That's messed up. George J., do you think Judge Dredd could work as a future timeline of either of the big two? Judge Dredd should have been the Marshal of 2099.
Yeah.
Mr. Roboto, BRPD crossover with Justice League Dark? Hellboy and the BRPD.
Yeah, how have we not thought of that yet?
DC.
Yeah.
I think. John Carlos, I would love to see an evil Superman archetype in the Marvel Universe, like Irredeemable's Plutonian. Yeah, his name is Hyperion right now, and the century before that.
I mean, is he evil or just corrupted?
Right, he is corrupted, but like
that seems to be the thing in all these Hero Reborn books, and that's why we have a POV with them, where it's like, look, they're messed up now, but there's good people inside them.
Yeah, Young Negro, do you think Jupiter's Legacy could fit in the big two? I don't think so.
It's too much of a pastiche. It's too much of a commentary on the Justice League to exist.
Exactly.
And Aaron's doing that now with the Squadron. So again, then you run into repetition where it's like, well, we can't have two versions of this.
Yeah. Jace Jensen, how about a Castlevania Blade crossover, having Trevor Belmont and Alucard helping Blade fight Dracula? I mean, it's a lot of vampires, but like people love vampires.
It feels like that should have been made before, like a video game tying to one of the things where it's like, oh yeah, and Blade is here too as like an unlockable character skin.
Yeah. Lucas Aragno, Howard the Duck, and Bone.
Mm.
Bone doesn't belong anywhere but where Bone is. Bone is a fan. That's like crossing Lord of the Rings with Star Wars. It just doesn't work.
He says now until they do it.
John Chung, which Power Rangers team would fit best? I mean, like, I don't know any of them, so I just go with the first one.
I mean, you do the original one because that's the most well-known, but I would also say because it's Marvel and because you want to help differentiate, because they're going to keep doing them on television and you don't want to have to keep changing the comic team to match the TV show team. Create originals.
Yeah.
It's the original Marvel Power Ranger team.
That's true. Oh, that's a good point. Denton Films, I want to see American Vampire in regular DC, but after Death Metal, I think Scott should keep the grounded stuff grounded.
He technically did, because Bloody Mary is on like the Council of Immortals and everything, so like they kind of technically did work that in at some point. They just didn't do anything with it.
Yeah, and I think like the Saint of Killers is referenced and also is referenced in DC and American Vampire, so it already is.
In Jonah Hex, Jonah talks about the frickin' Saint of Killers. Does not name him by name, but it's very
we know
obvious
who it is.
Who he's talking about.
Mr. Roboto, Dresden, Constantine in any series doing magic. I think we covered that.
Yeah, I mean, the Dresden guy. How is he for crossover and shit? Or is he like one of those guys who's like, no, nothing must touch my beautiful work?
I feel like it's the latter. Al Ali Ziadi says, out of curiosity, favorite indie comic series?
Ooh, man, that's a rough one. I feel like it changes with the win. I mean, I have championed Hack Slash from the very beginning, and the fact that Tim Seeley continues to get work at the big two shows that, hey, I was not alone in that regard.
Yep. I guess Bone.
Bone is pretty solid. Yeah, I feel, that's pretty good. I mean, anything by Jason Aaron, Scalped, Southern Bastards,
sure.
Anything like crime-centric that's like not capes and tights.
Yes. Russell Simmons, I don't know if Samurai Pizza Cats are considered indie, but it would be cool to see them hang out with Cat Beast from X-Men, because cats are cool.
big indeed. I mean, Samurai Pizza Cats in any universe, I think, would make a lot of money just on nostalgia alone.
I don't know about those odds. Joshua Vaughn, speaking of indies, do you plan on covering crossover or once in future on back issues? Maybe. We'll never do crossover because I'm not reading it. I don't think it's interesting. And once
indies
in future,
don't do well, unfortunately.
Yeah, and indies also tank on this channel. So, but yeah, I don't think so. Once in future, maybe, but I doubt it. But thank you, man. Squangle Productions, chance on a back issues on Radiant Black, 0%. Lewis Cox, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Actually did shockingly good on my channel. The first issue.
Oh,
of
nice.
Radiant Black, yeah,
nice. Yeah, they sent me a copy. I was like, cool.
People are horny for it.
I saw 1,000 videos about it, and I was like, yep, you don't need mine. Lewis Cox, Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Marvel be cool, but then DC will be fun. Easily works in both universes. Either one.
I mean, DC doesn't have a resident vampire hunter right now. It's like, oh, you have Blade, well, look who we have.
Fucking Buffy. That was brilliant. Works for me. And then Bendis puts her on the friggin' Justice League.
Oh, yeah, that's a mic drop and a half right there. Hey, I'm Buffy Summers. Now I'm a leaguer.
Yep. Be awesome. Girk Pectus, I already know there was a Hellraiser versus superheroes crossover. That was horrible, but those were obscure heroes. I think it could work with DC. If you know me, you know that I have zero respect for Hellraiser.
It feels like everyone's already created their own Pinhead. Like Batman Who Laughs is just a Centibite in DC.
Yeah.
Null is just a Centibite in Marvel. Like everyone has done their own version at this point. To have them show up would be like that friggin' John Carter of Mars movie, where it's like you're 100 years too late.
Yeah, the movie was pretty dope, by the way. I kind of like John Carter, but like it was also like what? And it's 3 hours.
Worst timing for a movie ever. And John Carter, one of those properties, dude. Everyone's stolen off your plate for way too long, man.
No one knows what that is.
You're derivative. Likewise, why I think Constantine never took off, where it's like, yeah, they have like 20 years worth of Supernatural and other supernatural detective series where it's like, yeah, a guy in trench coat with bad attitude who smokes. They've been eating your lunch, and you were eating Harry Dresden's lunch before that.
Yeah. Koye Raider, Reader says, are there any Cajun characters outside of Gambit that could be implemented into either of the big two? Shadow Man, maybe. I don't know. He's not really Cajun, but like certainly from New Orleans.
I mean, Rogue,
but she's not really Cajun. She's just Southern. She's from Georgia.
Damn it.
But I don't know.
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of Cajun supervillains like, I'm the Skinner, I'm the alligator man.
Yeah. Hey, Leatherhead from Ninja Turtles. But thank you for your support, man. Tubes the one zombie versus John Constantine
Mm.
crossover milestone DC. Great idea. That's one of those like they don't have to pay any money.
No, that one can just happen.
Jace Jensen, what about Dark Claw and Moonwing meet Batman and Nightwing? Ugh. They're never going to do that. Amalgam's never going to happen. It's over. You know why? Because we're seeing JLA versus Avengers right now in Aaron's stupid Avengers Heroes Reborn book, and we saw Amalgam in Infinity Warps.
Yeah. I guess it is. DC versus Marvel, isn't it? Within the pages of Hero Reborn.
Yep. They're just telling you we're not going to do it. Like we're not going to do it.
But if we did, we'd do it like this.
Yes. Michael Dancy 2, or Bruce. Michael Dancy II. How have we not gotten a triple crossover between Lucifer Constantine and Supernatural? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, come on, CW, can't you make that happen?
Don't you own all those things?
I mean, it kind of did happen because Lucifer showed up in a really strange, out of left field cameo in their Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover, and they implied that Constantine, Matt Ryan, knew Lucifer. So there you go.
That's true. Oh yes, that was a great moment in a thing I didn't really like or watch
Because you don't watch the CW shows.
This is true. Speed Vesca, one more Black Panther Phantom. That'd be a great one. Phantom is a character where you're like, you never get to see that. Like done in it with any like acclaim. And
I mean, all those Defenders of the Earth characters, Mandrake the Magician.
Yes.
What about Mandrake? Justice for Mandrake, everybody.
No. Mandrake can stay. And you picked one of my characters, the Max. Could work in any universe. Doesn't matter which one. He'd probably be handled better in the DC universe. In a perfect world, I mean, like in a perfect world, we got it because we got the Max as an image book. Sam Keith got 100% money. We got some gorgeous art and a freaking cartoon show that surpasses the comic book.
Indeed. Also, too, technically already crossed over with Batman, so I think it's pretty obvious where it's like, yeah, the Max is just a patient at Arkham.
Yeah, absolutely. He just lives in the alleys.
Yeah,
because he doesn't. All of his events are mental or very intimate.
Yeah. Again, it can totally just be any back alley in Gotham. All those characters can exist there.
Yep, it can be any city. Doesn't really matter. It could be Seattle.
True enough. His main villain is just a guy the other costumed villains look down on.
Yeah, he's just an asshole. Like the Mr. Gunn is just a guy in a cape. But the Outback could be explored, and it has been in Batman the Max, which is a book that exists.
Not what you wanted.
I didn't want it at all. And I was like, here it is. It's one of those things where my parents came to me and they were like, here are all the He-Man figures we never bought you. You're like, what did you get me these? Because we know you were a big fan of He-Man. I'm like, that was so long ago. What are you talking about? They're like, but we have them now. Thanks. What the hell am I going to do with these? Play with them.
It's your own last unicorn moment. Why do you come to me now?
Yeah. Last Unicorn, another great property.
Also, too, the fact that you did such a great Max episode, it's almost like you wished it into existence. Like that was your monkey's paw wish. Like, really, I could have had anything, and you gave me this,
right? Yeah. It's out of all the things that like my that my silly show about comic books could make happen. I don't think it was the Max, but like maybe somebody at DC's like, I like the Max too. Let's call up Keith, see if he wants to do it. Oh, Jesus, what a mistake. This took 2 years or whatever.
If I could have wished for anything, I would have wished for like world peace or something. Not the Max Batman.
I mean, whatever. We got it. Denton Films, I just got paid, so takes more of my money. Will do. Thanks, Denton. It blew my mind that Sandman and Lock and Key could cross over. I can't wait to see where it goes. I can't believe they did that. I cannot fathom that.
Just nutty.
Tick Noros, I don't know if it could count. Spawn, Ghost Rider, Hellboy. That's a no-brainer.
I mean, all the hell-based. You would have to get a lot of companies to play nicely with each other, but if they did, I think that's like a license to print money, even just from the Hot Topic posters alone that would generate.
That's true. Dakari Garmin, what about the Tick and Hercules team up with Marvel? I mean, what universe the Tick would work in? Marvel.
Yeah.
Marvel. DC would ruin it. Marvel would just be like, so he's Deadpool? All right.
I could see that too. Like Deadpool gets like really defensive when the Tick is in his universe. Like, hey man, I've carved out a good living here as the funny, wacky, self-referential one. You and your chair-faced villains and your little Moss sidekick better get on your bikes and ride.
Right. But the Tick would be great in that situation because the Tick unironically doesn't get it.
Yes.
So the Tick would be like, what?
Yeah. Deadpool kills the Tick universe.
Yeah. Or the Tick invades Marvel. I would love that. Are you kidding me? Especially Arthur in a world where he's looking outside his window, the world outside his window, and being inspired to become like a fat moth. I mean, that's one of those things. We did the Tick. That was one of those things where I was like, maybe there'll be more Tick if I do a Tick episode. But yeah. So any others you want to mention before we wrap up here that are like independent characters that could work in the big two?
I mean, we tackled everyone I had, and then some. The chat actually had an interesting one. This was from movies. Hey, the Rocketeer. What if the Rocketeer hung out with Captain America in World War II? That feels like a no-brainer. That's
a total no-brainer. I love the idea the Rocketeer was an invader.
Yeah. The secret history of the Rocketeer. Why are we only hearing about him now, Steve? Oh, well, that's a dark story. Sit down and let me tell you over the next 5 to 6 issues.
Right, exactly.
How the Rocketeer went missing and how we had to scrub all knowledge of his existence until a new Rocketeer takes up the mantle in 2021. And you call it the Rocketeer 2021.
Right, yeah. Oh my God. Then you make the Rocketeer like fight Iron Man 2020. Like, I don't know.
There's stuff there. There's a lot there. And then it's like, look, and then we got that new Disney Plus series, which is just the Rocketeer.
Seriously. Well, Joe Johnson made the Rocketeer. So
that's right.
He directed Captain America.
That's fucking right. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And Mr. Roboto wrapping up with, how about a live action Max trilogy? I don't want a live action Max anything.
It had its time. It's good.
It's very true. It's one of those things where it's like, just because I liked something doesn't mean I need more of it.
And leave the past in the past.
Yeah, the Max is one of those things. Like the only thing that I really want from the Max is two things. I want a bestiary book, and I want like a big print. Like I want like either a painting or a print from the old run. That's kind of it. Like, I don't need new stories about the Max. I don't need to explore the universe any further. I don't need a live action version that looks really weird. The cartoon is perfection. It's all done.
You know how the Max could work? Turn it into a tabletop role-playing game. Have your own adventures in the Outback with all of the Max classes and feats.
Right. And instead of any like attributes, it's all complications.
Yep, it's just all it is. It's like the anti-tabletop role-playing game. You know how those are power fantasies? Yeah. These are weakness fantasies.
These are insecurity fantasies. It's basically just a therapy session in a board game.
Hey, Wizards of the Coast, Green Ronin Studios, hit me up.
You're welcome.
and by me, I guess Keith, because I don't own the rights to it. So.
No. Michael Dancy II, The Shadow and Darkman. There you go. No one would buy it, but it would exist. Anyway, we want to thank you so much for hanging out with us. And thank you very much to our super chatters who supported today's episode and sponsored it and kept the VPNs out. We'll see you guys next time with another episode. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to ComicPop Returns. It is the channel where this show is going to live for the foreseeable future. If you have not already, if you click the link in the description, you will be taken to the channel so you don't miss any more episodes. The last episode of Elseworlds is going to be live on that channel probably in the next 1 to 12 hours. So keep an eye out for that. But it will be available. And I just put myself in timeout because I'm an idiot. I can't ban myself. Thank God. Anyway.
That would be hilarious.
Right? Like, damn it. Now I can never get back in. But listen, subscribe to ComicPop Returns. You will get Off the Rack and Elseworlds. And when we have the right period, I'm going to release a video on the main channel here where we say something like, this is the new channel for that. Go over there. But we're going to go live on that channel from now on, and we can do super chats and stuff now. So we're all good. So thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you for subscribing to Comic Pop Returns. Thank you for staying subscribed to Comic Pop Prime. And if you want more, well, go over there and see some more because there is more.
Also, go check out Capes and Crooks over on my own channel for the video version. It's a brand new Suicide Squad pastiche RPG game I play with Professor Thorgy and Scott from NerdSync. You can find it there in video form. It's also up on Anchor and Spotify and Pocket Cast and everything. I really went all out for audio versions if you just want to download it and carry it with you.
There you go. And just because why not? We're live. I just saw just now Hocus Pocus 2, greenlit, and
No.
everyone, all three witches, the Sanderson sisters, will all be back to be in Hocus Pocus 2, fall of 2022, only on Disney Plus. Speaking of things that we don't necessarily need,
But we're getting.
but we're gonna get an official Disney-made Hocus Pocus 2.
Everything that's old is new again.
So you might just get that Max live-action movie after all. Who knows? I mean, listen, there's been 3 iterations of The Tick on TV, and I know there'll be a 4th.
Yeah.
Because Edlund won't stop.
And because we love old ideas, we could make something new, but why don't we make something that was proven to be popular in the past?
Yes, because we're all just playing roulette with billions of dollars.
That Mitchells and the Machines movie, excellent movie, one of the best movies I saw here. They had to pitch it 5 times. It only got made when Spider-Verse was such a big, massive, award-winning hit. So they had a great movie that people loved and knew people were going to love, and the people in charge were like, no.
I still haven't even seen the damn thing, and I wanna, and I know how good it is. So anyway, thanks a lot for hanging out, and don't forget to subscribe to the new channel, and we'll see you later. Thanks a lot, everybody.